Welcome to a Team Oasis podcast. In another episode, in our final episode of season 1, we meet Dutch Boy Cast.
Yeah. I'm here, of course. Best ending you can wish for. I'm gonna say that already. I mean, I've claimed the title right now, isn't it? No, I mean, yeah, I'm here, and yeah,
Rose, the
that's
final
very
boss.
lovely. The final boss to beat, and hopefully I can, because it's gonna be a fun episode. I hope, here, Superface.
I do hope so myself as well. So let's start the episodes. Okay. So tell us a bit about yourself. Like who you are, what you do. What do you do for the audience who don't know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not behind me right now or behind my name, but there should be casts. There is cast behind it most of the time. I'm an esports caster myself, and I still go to school after it. But yeah, as some of you might know, of course, I'm an esports caster for both Valorant, CSGO, Rocket League, Call of Duty. I do all that stuff. Basically, almost every shooter you can think of. Not League of Legends and Dota. I leave that for the guys who are really intrigued into that. That's way too hard for me to understand. But no, that's what I do, and I do it both in English and Dutch. So definitely doing some nice stuff there, and you might have seen me already. Some people do recognize me by my name or even by my voice, so that's something I sometimes get told, and that's quite lovely.
That's amazing. Tell us about some of how you got into casting, because it's quite interesting. How long have you been casting?
Yeah, I mean, I think casting for like around 2 years, but really like getting into it, really like it started last year, because I also set up my own little business, for the freelancing, so that I can do things legally and really work for other companies. But that's really started when I got into really offers. So those 2 years were like once a month I did like a cast for fun, and then after that, like a year ago, I really started with like doing consistent streams on my own channel. And then after that, an organization started, posting some stuff about my streams. And I was like, hey, maybe collab sometime. And back then, they were an organization way bigger than I was. Like, I was nowhere close to it. It was an organization that had
Who were
top
they?
10 team in CS in the world, Entropiq. That's a CSGO organization.
Okay.
And they have also League of Legends. But they were a top Czech team. And they back then had a Russian team as well, which was top 10 in the world back then. So it was crazy for me as a 17-year-old boy to just ask it to them, like, do you want to work? Do you want to collab? And I mean, they said yes, and I worked for them already 2 years, so it's been lovely.
Absolutely amazing. Entropiq. Tell us a bit about Entropiq, because I know it's a professional CSGO team. I've seen you talk about them. You recently just got some merch from them. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that.
I posted about it on Twitter. Yeah, they.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working for them for about 2 years, so now they wanted to give me some some gifts for that as well. So I got some new shirts from the merch line they brought out. So that's quite nice, and some other good stuff. But it's a Czech organization, like I said. They do I think CS:GO, League of Legends, iRacing, and FIFA, if I'm not mistaken. Those games they're specialized in, and they're trying to get themselves to the top of the Czech scene, and a little bit in the top of the Europe scene, etc. as well. So those are their goals. But yeah, mainly a Czech organization, always going into Czech teams. But then they recently picked up that Russian team, but they disbanded like a year ago as they weren't really getting the results they wanted. They were top 10 at once, and since then they've been kind of dropping off. And then at some point you're going back to what you had as a Czech organization, a Czech team, and that's what they have right now.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool team to be a part of, to be honest. And the fact that they were able to pick you up from such a young age as well, and nurture you to become the caster you are today as well. You've also, dived into esports yourself. I heard you're a bit of a player. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes, I've had some team experience. Before I went into like seriously casting, I was like a part of a team which later became a league where I'm still hosting for. We'll probably get into that after that. But I used to play for Authority Esports, and now I have a league hosting that. So that's gonna be something for later. But like I said, I've been a player myself. Like you said, I've been a player myself as well for quite a long time, and I still play. now just with a friend stack, we call ourselves Drees van de Buurt, which like a very memey name with a Gucci cap as our logo, you know. So it's just a memey little bit of a of a team coming out. But yeah, Drees van de Buurt also, it's a Dutch name for like just weird guys in the neighborhood, you know. So it's definitely not something you can really take serious. But I mean, we're winning some stuff. We got into the close qualifier of the Benelux Championship last time it was. So we actually achieved some small things here and there. Then I started playing with a different team again that didn't really work out, and now I'm just back there and probably just gonna stay there because I mean, casting takes up a lot of your time, and that's really something I'm feeling right now as well. I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I cannot really fill school and casting and then playing in a team because then I'm not gonna satisfy everyone 100% or myself even.
Yeah. Which one do you prefer, casting or esports player?
I mean, I've always said myself like whenever I can get to like play as a professional player, I would definitely go for it. But now I start realizing that that's a much harder path to take, and I really enjoy casting as well. I've always, before I said I want to become like a player, I've always said like I want to do some. If I can become a commentator for sports, I would do that. Then esports rolled around, and now I'm like, I would rather just stay on esports and do that for the rest of my life, and that would be fine as well. I really, really enjoy it and would really like to stay there. So both sides is something to say about it, but I've already realized from playing a few LANs myself that really the hype around playing or the how do I say that, the stress from playing, for even on my level already, I wouldn't even imagine how that stress level would be from above. I mean, I'm so hyped, but also so stressed about it. Like whenever I have a LAN or play for the top of the Benelux, I can almost like not eat for that day, and then after that I'm feeling sick because I have just got so much anxiety still into me, or like, you know, sadness or something. So I felt like probably casting is then the best thing to keep on doing.
Right. And speaking of casting, moving on to authority leagues. Yes. Okay, now tell us about how you started authority leagues.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not something I did to in regards of any casting, but it was mainly like we built up an organization myself. First we started under an organization, then we felt like we wanted something ourselves. So then we started off by building Authority Esports. And back then we thought, okay, we would always had a dream to, you know, start an esports league. And me and two other guys were like, let's just do it. Let's just set it up, and then we have a place to play in ourselves as well. But now later on, we were like, no, it's a lot more professional to not play in the tournament yourself, because then, however you like it or not, whenever you're the one with the worst schedule, you're still gonna be like a little bit favored into you. You know, whenever you have to make decisions regarding that, you can say, oh, we are professional, but you're still the organizer, so you cannot 100% say professional because you want to win yourself as well. So that's why we thought, okay, we stopped with performing with the team, and then also the team fell apart because I didn't really play in there anymore, but the league stayed because that was something completely separate. And yeah, it's just an esports league that we're now hosting, where we started to get into CSGO, of course, and we wanted to expand into Valorant as well. That didn't really work out. Now we're thinking of something with Danger Zone, potentially the battle royale game of CSGO to start get in there, but that's also not being confirmed in any sort of way. So yeah,
What's about the Valorant thing? What's about the Valorant expansion? That's quite interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very grassroots what we had. We wanted to build something around like a cash cup type of circuit where you had to like 4 certain tournaments where you could acquire points and just some money from as of a whole, and then into a finals. But for us, when we started to announce that, there were already players like, oh, are they gonna stop with CS? When will the CS event begin? And like we really built a little bit of a scene around the CS scene. So we are not known, of course, but we're starting to get more and more known as soon as we continue on further. So there were already teams asking about that, and we were like, okay, we're just going to continue with what we have in CS and build a new season around it, and with good success, because the 4th season was an absolute banger in my opinion.
So you run in seasons instead of like, you know, just like monthly tournaments. Oh, that's quite
Yeah.
cool. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something. I mean, we are called authority leagues after all, so we're really building a league, and we're probably one of the only events, like maybe in the lower scene. There's a few events, of course, around us, but like we really want it to be like a league. Like for example, in CS, you have SCL, which is a league. You have ESCA, which is the most well known, where there's like a lot of matches you have to play, and we want to build that same situation where you just have one best of one you play every week, and for a course of 6 weeks, and then you play against everybody, so you get a whole league type of circuit, when it isn't like, okay, you lose 2 and you're out, you know, you have more chances to show yourself.
Yeah. You mentioned was it ESL as well? But what's it called? You also meant
ESCA, yeah.
EC.
ESCA, that's a platform for
ESCA.
CSGO.
I swear I've seen that on your bio somewhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean,
There's
I
something
think
similar
I've
on there, yeah.
yeah, I think I have ESCA partner on there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Tell us about that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's something for casters. It's a little bit weird to explain, but ESCA, that's not something you have in Valorant or in any other game, but it's basically a platform like, for example, Challenger mode, or even Challenger mode, but then where you can actually queue on, but where there's like tournaments being posted on, etc., or where they are hosting the tournaments on, but they're also hosting a very big league, and you can freely sign, or not freely sign up, you have to pay the entry fee, but you can openly sign up, and that's basically the path into the pro league. So you start off by getting into the open division. There's about 1,000 teams joining every single time. There's four leagues each month coming in. Then you climb to the intermediate, you climb to main, you climb to advanced, and then you go to ESL Challenger League, and then you have the Pro League. So you have to climb all those divisions to get yourself up to the standards. For example, in Rocket League and Valorant, you got open qualifiers and VCT. And you have some national competitions, but that's everything. That's the whole European scene. So CSGO has a lot more potential in that regards with how they function in the EU or NA circuit in that of a whole. So that's something CS got what almost no other esports has. And with the ESCA partner, you have an opportunity to cast the ESL Challenger League, which is just a league where a lot of tier 3, tier 2 teams face off against each other. But it's usually closed. But then when you are an ESCA partner, you have the opportunity to broadcast those games, and usually getting quite a lot of viewers because it is so strict and there's not a lot of people actually streaming it themselves. Like below that, it's all open Go TV, so it's all open to everybody to stream it. So that's how I started, by casting ESCA advanced games. But now you got the opportunity to also cast the ESL Challenger.
It is honestly amazing the career you have built, to be honest, right? Like, and to be honest, right, how would you, give advice to someone who wants to start casting, someone in the audience, maybe? How would you, start if you were new to casting?
Yeah, it really depends on kind of what game you are going into. I think CS is probably one of the easiest games to get into nowadays, just because you got yourself that ESCA Advanced what I was talking about earlier. It's a really good place where there's also a lot of viewers joining in because they're interested in those matches, or they're betting on them, which gets in a lot of viewers as well. So you have an opportunity to show yourself off to the audience, and there's also very good organizations already in there. So when you get some luck around it as well, or some people joining in, you're already building up some community. And there's definitely some organizations looking to pick up some newer casters to then start paying you a small bit, or getting you a little bit more known, and then you're building up your regimen because of it. I've recently helped a new caster, which I saw in ESCA Advanced, in those matches. He was really casting, and then I said like, oh, maybe you can take a look into this, and maybe you can take a look into that, and now he's already starting to do some tier 3 things as well. So in CS it's probably pretty little bit more easy to do so, but I would definitely say just do as much events as you can. I've grinded a lot as well. Everyone probably has. It's never been easy. I mean, I've had pretty much an easy access due to getting signed by such a big organization as Entropiq. But if you grind hard enough, eventually, I feel like you're going to get yourself some sweet offers. And I mean, you also have to really love what you're doing, because I mean that's what makes sense the most. I mean, it's
Yeah,
gonna
of
be
course.
like something you're first doing as a hobby, and if there's an opportunity to make it your job, there is, but it's also very hard to make it your job in the end.
And were you always good at casting, or did it take a while to, master the skill?
I think I've been a little bit gifted as well myself,
Okay.
with the way I am speaking a lot. The reason by that, because I mean,
Mm,
I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but before, when I was like still a whole lot younger, and I'm talking like maybe 6 or 7,
yeah,
I would watch a lot of sports. So I would watch
gotcha.
cycling or like football, and then my parents just said like they told me to sometimes just shut because I was like talking over the commentators, or I was just commentating the game already, like giving a whole lot of comments about what was happening, etc. So it's something I've been getting
Mm,
through from all over the
yeah.
board, and then I was like, oh, why not try it in esports? And it's actually something I've been liking, and since then, doing ever since. Like I do it right now
Mm,
for just a job, or beside job,
mm,
because I still go to school, of course.
yeah. That's interesting because what's it called? Would you ever go into sports as a caster?
That is something I will probably be looking into a little, but I think it's going to be a small percentage of a chance that that's going to be the case.
Mm,
Reasoning probably behind it is, I mean, I'm doing a study right now myself, or I'm still in college, and I do something with sport and communication. And I really
yeah.
realized that right there and then, since I've been getting into esports myself, or since I've been started doing that, sports has been a little less interesting to me as of a whole. And now when I'm building something around that esports scene, I'm like, okay, I've built this. If it's starting to get bigger and bigger, why not just stay? But that's something we'll obviously have to be looking at from the path onwards. Because if I would be able to get a job around the sports scene, maybe there's something I can do around that as well. Who knows? This is going to be something that the future will
Mm,
definitely tell.
yeah. And what sport would you like to do?
Hmm. Um, that is a very, very good question. I think for me, one of the maybe most logic answers would be something around maybe a tennis or something. I think that is something I would definitely be willing to look into as well. I think football, there's um, so much I will have to learn around that, and I'm personally not like a football guy. Same for maybe like Formula One, because even though I watch that every time, and I've also casted like a Benelux racing league type of thingy that was like quite fun to do, and nothing
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with that with my casting as well. But at the same time, I feel like whenever I would get into
Mm,
casting on like the television or something
yeah.
for Formula One, I think I wouldn't know enough about it, or I would have to really
Mm,
specify into that. I think, and tennis is
yeah.
like a little bit easier access to go to, or
Mm.
yeah, probably something like that.
What about football? Because
You,
you said
you
tennis. You said
Yeah,
tennis
I,
just
I
a moment
said I
ago.
said tennis, yeah, but I
Mm.
also specified that for football,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm personally, I have my club, my favorite club is my hometown club, and that's really what it is. I watch
Right.
football not too much,
Mm.
and whenever I would now be, I
Yeah.
would ask like, oh, can you name any of the other players around the competition, or like the biggest teams?
Yeah.
It would be hard for me for me to do that. So I'm definitely not
Yeah.
really into that much of football. I would definitely get into it as soon as I
Mm.
get those offers, but then I have
Yeah.
to as well as show that I first of all know it. So then yeah, it's a little
Mm.
bit 50-50 around it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I will probably, whenever I would say a sport, even though
Mm.
that's obviously still, if I would ever
Yeah.
go into sports, as esports is still growing quite heavily.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, it would definitely be tennis, maybe as a
Mm.
example.
Okay. Tennis. Dutch boy tennis. Okay.
Yeah, let's go, get it.
mm.
Dutch tennis boy or something like that, or just Dutch
Yeah, yeah.
tennis boy cast. There we go. We got some new names already.
It's the new season of Authority Leagues. It's just tennis
Yeah,
on Wii Sports. Tennis on
exactly.
Wii Sports.
Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, I remember, playing Wii Sports, and I did like the duo version, and then I
Yeah, yeah.
remember just, shake. Wait, that's not visible here. I just shaking
Yeah,
shaking
yeah.
my thing in the middle when I was the guy just in front. And they would sometimes, hit it. You would sometimes just randomly do it or constantly hit it back. Wii Sports was so fun, man. Honestly.
True. It's really nostalgic. I don't think any game has come close to it, to be honest. Because
No,
it was a
yeah.
game for just anyone.
Hmm.
That was the fun of it. Like, I mean, I know there's Switch Sports out now, but it's not the same. It really
It
isn't.
doesn't give the same vibe.
Yeah.
It is. It's true.
The great thing about it was, you didn't need like an expensive console. The Wii wasn't like that expensive at the time, really. It was quite cheap to get a secondhand Wii as well. What's it called? And it came with the console. It was built for it. The whole point was it was showing, how the Wii worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played this Resort one as well? Wii Sports Resort.
No, I haven't gone into that. I've seen
Mm,
it been played,
it's
and
really good.
I've actually, I've played it sometimes with some other friends, but I
Mm,
never had the pleasure because I think we went really before we resort, or before we even knew that was there. We had like a
yeah.
PlayStation 4 coming in, and we
Gotcha.
like switched out the Wii for that.
Mm,
I used
okay.
to own a lot of Skylanders. I think that was on the Wii. So
Mm,
I played a ton of that as well. So that's probably, that was
yeah.
that was like one of my main games I played on there. We had like 100, no, not 100 of course, but like 10, 20 of them just laying around. You didn't use them because you were never, getting off of it. But at the same time, it was just so fun to have those little things as well. But yeah, Skylanders, that was a good game as well.
What ones of Skylander did you have? Like, like what games?
I have to actually look at that for a moment. I think it was like it's called Giants maybe or something.
Oh,
Wait,
I had that game too. That was a good one.
yeah, Skylanders
Yes.
Giant. Oh, I got it right.
Mm,
Yeah, that was a sick one. Yeah.
with the
Then I
giant
remember.
characters. Love that.
Yeah, true, true, true. I remember having that like the one with the sledgehammer and the one
Mm,
with like the tree guy, which was like built off of wood. It was,
yeah.
yeah, it was good nostalgia to think back on that for sure.
hmm I like the whale called I think it was called Thumpback or something, right? It was honestly amazing. It was like just gigantic whale, right, with like a huge anchor. It's
Oh,
amazing. But it was like literally pay to win. That's what
yeah.
Skylanders really is at the end of the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once you've got a giant, you've won the entire game.
Oh wow, it literally like a starter spec right now cost for me
Yeah.
only €21 just for the nostalgia.
Oh.
That would even be worth it, I think.
Mm.
Maybe something to take a look at.
Yeah. You said you also do a bit of streaming. Tell me about. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely been getting less since I started
Mm.
getting a lot more offers for like other tournaments to go off
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to start like I said with casting on my own channel and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not really a guy who's
hmm
gonna stream my own gameplay because I mean I feel
Yeah.
like it's whenever I just play the game, I play the game myself. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not something I'm too willing to give up. Whenever I'm done with a round, I sometimes just watch YouTube besides it, right?
Yeah.
Like when I have to be strict just watching the game myself, I'm just enjoying and doing whatever I have to,
Mm.
not too strict on that. And that's probably why I'm not really into stream myself. But like you said, I've about 2K followers now on my Twitch
Ooh.
channel, so I mean, I definitely got some people watching, and that's mainly because I mean I've been streaming the
Mm.
games on that, and ESCA partner has helped me a ton
Yeah.
with streams where I get 1K viewers sometimes on, right, and then yeah, some
Mm.
people are like, okay, this guy gets some viewers, this guy's pretty fun, let's just
Yeah.
follow them, and then they stick around.
It, honestly, man, you are really a jack of all trades. Like you're pretty good at anything, to be honest. Um, but yeah, let's on the subject of casting again and like the streaming, of course, right? What big tournaments, have you what's it called been in? Tell me about the notable ones.
Yeah, there's a few of CS that I have done.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best ones to take note
Yeah,
for
yeah.
are probably everyone when you're watching tier 3 scene, you've definitely seen them because it's like the new leading little bit of a tournament circuit you got right now, which is called CCT, Champions of Champions Tour, which is a league or a circuit around like 3 years, and there's 7 divisions in total and like 8 online series for each and every tournament. But yeah. I'm a part of that casting group, so you just fill in your availability and you get scheduled for some matches as well. So that's probably the one for CSGO that people know, because almost every day there's CCT matches. You see the little icon in different colors and you know, oh, that's the CCT, right? That's such a notable icon that you see right there. And probably for Valorant, that would be the IMC Open Liquid 2022. That's an event hosted by Team Liquid. Also streamed on the official Team Liquid channel with like 750k followers. So then I was like, oh, nice, I do something. And it was like in the middle
Liquid.
of the Team
insane.
Liquid, yeah, and they hosted their yearly Valorant event, which was also sponsored by Riot, because it gave access with the results to the Beacon circuit, which is like a circuit regarding with partner teams will be given out points, and then regarding to the standings, there is like spots being given out into the Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3, etc. So then that's just a whole tournament circuit into another tournament circuit. So yeah, that's how Valorant basically does it. So it was lovely to be a part of that event, and I mean, it was funny. This is the real story behind it, but the RLCS major, so this is something completely different, of course, but the RLCS major from Rocket League was recently in Rotterdam, and I was there too, and there was like a Team Liquid booth on spot where you could play and stuff, and then I walked up there and it was like, oh, this is looking pretty nice, and then he says, I can't fully pinpoint it, but I think I've seen you before, and I was like, that could be possible, because I've been a caster for you guys, and I showed my back of my screen where my name was on, because I just got myself some jersey with my own name from the Rocket Benelux community. And then he said, you did the IMC Liquid Open. So it was funny that someone from Team Liquid just recognized me from that event. But yeah, something completely off topic for now. But yeah, it's just a fun thing. I mean, what esports sometimes does with you, you get recognized quite often.
Actually insane. And from CSGO, you also went to Valorant. Valorant Trinity Trials or something, what's it called? It really does interest me. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that was the Benelux competition. So for the people who are not too sure what that means, you, for every single, like, for example, when you take a look at Valorant, you got yourself all those type of circuits for different countries. So you got one for Spain, you got one for France and everything. So you got every single kind of nation that has themselves a little competition into it. And the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg are usually partnered up together, because the 3 scenes are too small to get themselves a scene on their own. So they're combining it. So that's what the Benelux is all about. And in CSGO you have that. In Valorant you have that as well. Valorant uses the VTT, the Valorant Trinity trials for that. And
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was one of my first real Benelux offers I got myself. I got in contact with one of the most notorious or well-known Benelux casters out there. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to search some offers for you. He's called Toldersma. Some Netherlands or Belgium viewers should probably know him. But yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff throughout all of the Benelux scene basically. But yeah, I got into that by him, because he said like, oh, I got a little offer for you, and that was also my first studio cast, so it was quite lovely to immediately get into there. My first Valorant duo cast I had to do immediately from a studio, immediately in Dutch, which I had only been doing like twice ever. So it was a nice experience. I managed it quite well. Like you probably also know, I didn't get invited to any more, but that was because they asked me to fully focus on or proceed with my Valorant things instead of also doing CS and Rocket League. Besides that, they want you to really focus on one game and one game specifically. And that's not something I was willing to do because I just got into CCT. I just got into Tier 3 CSGO, and now I do almost every event there as well. And I started to get into Rocket League Benelux as well, or Rocket Benelux, that is called. So yeah, that's been all out of the way. And then I was like, am I going to accept this once every 3 months to go there and cast for that tournament? I'm not too sure if that's for me willingly enough to go for there. I said like I want to focus on CSGO. And they had a CSGO competition, but unfortunately 2 months later that also shut down. And now they don't host that anymore. So I shoot myself in the foot for a second. But of course, I got a lot of offers for that in return, right? So that's like, yeah, it is a decision I made. And I definitely don't regret it, but it could have gone the other way, definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been sitting here probably. That's one sure thing if I accepted that deal, so... I mean, that's, I guess, good for you.
Yeah, you obviously you've been on Blue Skirmish a couple of times now. You've even helped, someone get into casting. I'm sure you remember Ace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really nice that you actually helped him through that tournament. But yeah, he really does appreciate it. But yeah, Blue Skirmish, yeah. Tell me more about some of the other tournaments you've been in, like in Valorant.
With the casting, or
Casting.
Okay, yeah, because playing wise, I mean, Valorant is definitely a game. I mean, whenever I start, I mean, I'm pretty good at CS, I would say. Like for the people who probably know some CS, I mean, I'm probably almost the highest matchmaking rank in the game, like Supreme, but I'm also level 10 Face It, which is like, definite good level to be at. But for Valorant, that's completely different. So playing wise, don't ask me. But casting wise, I mean, for Valorant, it's quite hard. It's a lot different than I would say for CS, because like I said, you got a whole Europe circuit behind it. You got companies like CCT running tournaments almost every single day. Whereas for Valorant, it's like, okay, you got yourself Northern Europe, where a specific amount of casters get asked for, and then you have language casts, where there's like a Germany tournament, there's a France tournament. I mean, they're gonna get German and France casts for that because it's the whole point of it in that type of sense. So English wise, it's hard because you got, like I said, you got the tournaments like you are hosting, the Blue Skirmish. You got after that, you already got yourself like how is that called? Like the Northern Europe VRL, I think it's called.
Right.
VRL Northern Europe, and then you have VCT. So it's not a pretty nice stairway to climb. It's a hard one to get yourself into, but yeah, that's why there's not too much. I mean, I've done some tournaments like Blue Skirmish, like you said, and Wolfstain is one other tournament that is being hosted. It's a monthly tournament with like $150 prize pool or something in total. It's definitely a nice few tournaments to be a part of. But like I said, yeah, CSGO is the main game most of the time. And now also Rocket League, because I've been starting to get more and more into the Rocket Benelux myself.
Oh, Rocket League, okay. So what brings you to Rocket League?
I mean, maybe just like CS, and then Valorant as well. I mean, the game itself is just very interesting to me as well. I mean, that's why I said League of Legends and Dota get out. It's not... Yeah, it's not been intriguing enough to go for that. I mean, I've played a fair square of Rocket League as well, got like 700 hours or something. It's not too much, because my majority of the time I've been playing CS, but Rocket League is also a very nice fast-paced game, and definitely something I've been watching for my entire life. That's something, it's just a game I really like, and that's why I feel like I could be, or I was gonna get into it. And now with me getting into the Rocket Benelux circuit, it's another Benelux opportunity for me that it's been really looking good and looking nice.
Yeah. Are you any good? What rank are you on Rocket League?
Do you play Rocket League as well then, or not? Or is this just out of the blue question?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I mean, I'm around Champ 1, Champ 2, so that's not too good. but it's not too bad either. I mean,
Yeah.
champ 1 and champ 2 means that you can hit the ball sometimes, and I mean that's the whole point of the game. And then in which direction you do it, that's a question for another day. And there goes a lot of practice into it, because I mean Rocket League has, I mean, every esports, but Rocket League maybe one of the most, has such a high skill ceiling, man. That's, I mean, no one plays perfect in that game, because there's always going to be gaps. When there's no gaps, there would always be a 0-0 in every single game. But at the same time, you're trying to get past the enemy, and the enemy is trying to save it. I mean, and they're also trying to counter with that. So there's a whole plan behind it. Yeah, and everyone is going to make mistakes, because you have to do the right thing at the right time, but someone is going to do something different, and then you're not doing the right thing anymore. It's just what it is.
Of course. Of course. So, what's it called? Rocket League in the Benelux scene. Any companies in particular, that are doing Rocket League at the time that you're interested in?
Yeah, I mean, Rocket Benelux is the company that is hosting all the
Right,
Rocket.
right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's called Rocket Benelux. So
Mm.
that's why. Yeah, that's basically in Rocket League as well as in Valorant. You got a very weird path into the game. You even got yourself less room than in a Valorant to work with. You got some national events that you have. So you got Rocket Benelux hosting. You got like Rocket Baguette, which is like the France competition that's been played. You got like Swedish, Norway, Finnish as well. And then you have qualifiers into RCS and RCS. That's basically the two circuits you can really move in and work in yourself. So I mean, the qualifiers are very long. You got like 3 days to qualify yourself on various stages. You start off with the double alien bracket, then you get yourself into various Swiss stages, and then you finally get yourself into like the main event. But it's a whole lot different. But for the Rocket Benelux, that's where I started to get into, like probably 3 months ago. And it's just, yeah, it started off by a monthly tournament, but now it's really like starting to become a real thing. Like the RLCS, they want to make a Swiss stage, make a whole point system behind it. So they're really professionalizing things. And it's really lovely for still like such a small region to have such a big organizer. So big props to them, of course, for making it work. I've seen a lot of good things about the community, because 3 months ago, when the new circuit got announced, they made a new video, and there were a lot of like reactions in the chat, like, oh, I wish we had an organization like this, right? I wish I mean, everyone in the Benelux should be very happy with an organization like this, because it is true. For such a little region to have such a big tournament coming your way, and a total prize pool for the year of like $19,000 or something be given out.
Oh my.
It's just insane, right? For
Yeah.
just Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, because you would expect it from probably something else than from those.
Will you be looking to like expand into other games with authority? I know you tried to do Valorant, but maybe Rocket League.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking of yeah, we're always looking to improve, and I think our main focus will always be CSGO. I personally don't really know if we're gonna be expanding into like a Rocket League, but like I said, we're trying to get into something like Danger Zone, but at the same time, Authority League, as much as I would like, but probably not a real possibility for it. It just takes a lot of time from you to even host a league yourself. And the way CS has now been going, I mean, it's our trademark, like we said, and yeah, it's really something I feel like we should definitely consider focusing on to expand that, and hope to see there. But yeah, we'll see what the future brings, because it's been a thing really out of the ordinary for us as well to just start that league. And now it's been starting to become a real thing, like almost 1K followers on Twitter, of course, already. So it's really been becoming a thing ourselves, and now we're like, yeah, but it was a side thing, it was not something we were gonna be doing like full time ourselves. I mean, if there's a possibility for it, sure, but that's almost impossible to really make of that.
And what advice would you give to new tournament organizers who want to get started and maybe make a profit? It's quite hard to do that, of course, but yeah, because I know we've spoken in the past about how hard it is to make it in the esports industry. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, for tournament organizers, I would say good luck with making some profit. I mean, I think you know as well. It's quite hard. We got pretty we got pretty lucky ourselves. I mean, we're definitely not making any profit, but we're not taking any profit. But we did make profit from our last competition we hosted. But at the same time, we're not taking anything ourselves. We're trying to, invest into the next season because
Smart.
we got pretty lucky with actually one of our main sponsors just giving us the full prize pool of the last season, and that was like even a €300 prize pool coming out. So we are very lucky with one of our sponsors coming in. But at the same time, I mean, getting a sponsor like that is pretty ridiculous to do so. We got very, very lucky ourselves. And at the same time, I feel like the way you're going to be treating the people working for you. I mean, we have recently also started to, pay our casters and, pay our staff a little bit. We're not really trying to take anything ourselves. I mean, we could, but at the same time, we didn't want to make any profit ourselves. We just wanted to host a league. And if we can invest into the next season to make it even bigger. And, we spoke about Liquidpedia as well a little bit. Get into there, get a tournament that is actually signed by there. And with that, you can really start to be building up because, I mean, a C-tier tournament on Liquidpedia is going to be posted inside all of those events that are right there. And then you see your own name, the Authority League, just in there, really being promoted by other stuff as well, and really been reached out on and noticed by other companies. That's
Wait,
just
is Authority on there? Is Authority on Liquidpedia?
No, I mean, we got our own page, but that's a user page right now. I mean, the way it works for people, and probably if at some point Blue Skirmish wants that as well, it's going to be for now just a user page. I don't know how it works for Valorant because at some prize pool marks in Valorant you can set up those tournaments and still make it a real C-tier event themselves. But that's going to be something you obviously have to do later. But yeah, for CSGO, I think it's like a minimum of €500 you have to be making, and then it won't be a user page anymore. It will be registered. Otherwise, it's just going to be a page you made yourself, and the only way you're going to exit is by the link that you sent yourself. Otherwise, it will be nowhere found. So yeah, that's something you have to take a look at.
Yep. Well, I'm definitely going to do that. I have been looking into that myself, to be honest. And it's quite a pain to code, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I got lucky with my with a friend of mine who has been looking into that and has explained me some things. But personally, sorry if you're watching this, but I forgot everything, so I have no clue really. But what you can do, which would probably help, is take a look at other tournaments, how their coding is going, but at the same time, you need to have a mindset for coding as well, because, I mean, I think we've spoken backstage as well. You're an ICT guy, so you probably know some stuff about coding, so then it will be easier to read. But for some people who've no idea what's standing there, I mean, you have to watch some tutorials. You have to really inform yourself about it. Otherwise, it's just going to get very hard to get into that, because otherwise, I mean, it's equally as hard as like the basic starter code from HTML, which is like the basic of everything. And that is something you have on a page, which is probably coded by a code. So it's like 3 billion different variations you can go off of almost.
It's true. So honestly, it's I think it's quite complicated, but I do think if someone wants to get into it, they could try something else. And I do recommend this browser, or should I say AI. People should try ChatGPT. This podcast isn't sponsored by ChatGPT, don't worry. But it is a really good, useful tool. Okay? If you want to know anything about anything, like there are people building businesses just from the robot giving them instructions and making about like 15K a month in sales. It's ridiculous. I do recommend it.
Yeah.
And have you tried it before?
I mean, I have recently. It's actually quite funny. My dad is a teacher, and they had to make like an assignment about a at least they had to make an assignment. At least they had to make like a little bit of a task for someone else. Like you start here and you're gonna be going through a few exercises and then you're gonna be done. So they had to create that themselves. They had to write it down in proper Dutch as well. So it was like an exercise for just your Dutch language to grow a little bit more. And we saw two of the same answers coming in. And they looked just the exact similar written. So my dad was like, okay, they probably copied from each other. And I was like, maybe ChatGPT was being used. So I searched it up, and it wasn't, unfortunately, because otherwise we would have caught them red-handed. But yeah, it's definitely something you can use for also those tasks. And it's something where school systems, at the same time as it being very helpful, also very scary for, the way the whole school system is going to work, because you can literally ask them anything at any time and they could probably make it for you. So it's cool, but at the same time, it's also pretty dangerous for the whole education system, because we all know, I mean, we're both not on the age anymore to be like in high school or even before that, just basic. But at the same time, we have seen the education level where people have been getting more rude, more a little bit, just an online world. People aren't really thinking themselves anymore. They're usually, using the computer for that. So ChatGPT is gonna be a little bit of a danger for that. But it's very, very helpful tool for like organizations, like you said, to set up. They can make just basic plans, and it can really grow because of just that AI.
Yeah, I mean, even for Liquidpedia, you can literally get to generate some code as well.
Yeah.
The newest version of ChatGPT, I think it was GPT 4. Yeah, it can recognize images now. It can tell you what's happening in an image. It's amazing. And there's another AI out right now called Midjourney. Have you heard of that?
No, to be fair,
Basically,
not really.
yeah, Midjourney is a AI where you can tell it something and it will generate an image for you. Like, let's say Darth Vader going skiing, it will literally generate it. It's amazing. I generally recommend looking it up. I think it's about £8 a month or something for like 200 generations of images.
Yeah, I mean, when
Honestly,
you explain it this
it
way,
will tell you.
I've heard of it before, and when you explain it the way this is, I think a friend of mine, he used to have a profile picture on his Steam, and then he was like, he can put that painting into it as well. He painted it himself. It was like very, very scrappy in paint done, and he placed that inside of that little the AI, and now he has such a nice little tree with everything in there, but then so much detail into it. So that's just really nice. And as you said, I would also recommend it to use it for almost anything, because you can use it for almost anything as well.
It's true. Exactly right. Yeah. And I think on that note, we're about to enter the 3 questions. Ask
Ooh.
me.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do
That
this.
is, that's nice. So, I mean, as you know, I mean, I've been a part of the Blue Skirmish for quite a while, and you have been telling me some things about this. But what was the main reason for you starting to get into esports? Because maybe it's something for you a little bit out of the extraordinary to do. What was the reason for you to mainly start with esports?
Esports tournaments, or like esports as a whole?
Yeah, esports tournaments, and maybe also esports as a whole. Two questions in the same.
Okay, that's cool. Is that like as one question or 2 questions?
Yeah, it's one question,
Okay,
but at the same time too. So we're going into the section of 4 questions right now. Just
okay,
let's go.
Let's do it.
End of the season. Come on, we gotta make the viewers worth for watching.
This is true. Okay, well, obviously I started as a gaming content creator, like most people did in the space. I started, creating just Pokemon content, and then I gradually moved over to like FPS games. Obviously, when Fortnite took popularity, of course, I was one of the people who got into FPS games because of that way. And then, obviously, I went to Valorant after getting my PC. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I got to play in the beta. I was like, oh, I got the little beta gun buddy. That was pretty cool. Um, and basically, I was on a journey because I wanted to get into like esports as a player. I did for a little bit, but then I got picked up by a team known as Team Mars, and they were a esports team. They had like about 10,000 followers on Instagram, and this guy on there, he introduced me to content creation, but not just normal content creation. Content creation as like an FPS creator. Like you weren't. It's not like, oh my god, like, oh guys, look, check me out, IRL streamer, let's just talk to the chat. It was like gaming, proper gaming stream. Like you were. It was more like you're streaming like Shroud, like you're streaming like you enjoy the game and you're not just playing the game for fun. You also want to get better at the game. That was kind of like the content creation side I got into really because it was more fun. I got more into FPS content and it's cool. I had my own gimmick as well. I wore a mask as well, like right round here, and that was kind of my whole thing. Until it got leaked, but yeah, we don't talk about that. This is why you never show if you want to do that stuff. Never show anyone because they could turn around and go, oh, look who that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
That's really
eventually,
unfortunate.
yeah, and eventually, what's it called? I got introduced to a team known as Zyder. Now they're not around too much anymore. Of course, they do plan to return. Zyder was a 100,000 follower team. What's it called? I have Zyder in my name because what's it called? I'm very close with what's it called? I'm kind of part of their little group. So it's an amazing esports team. And they also, what's it called, inspired me, to start, well, Team Oasis. And this is the juicy part, of course, because I got, I wanted to build an esports team. As you know, Team Oasis used to be an esports team. Blue Skirmish didn't show up for a very long time. And I didn't plan to because at first, it's quite hard to run this kind of stuff without a job, because I was like 16 and stuff, right? Obviously, it's quite hard to get a job sometimes in this climate. Sometimes you get lucky, but, when you're starting out, right, and you have no CV, people want someone with like 20 years of experience, But, yeah. And as soon as I got my apprenticeship in IT, of course, because for any of you watching, I'm an IT apprentice, of course. And basically, I was like, well, now I've got money, I can invest into all of this stuff. And I invested into Team Oasis, but it never felt the same. Now, Team Oasis is still a company at the end of the day, but it's not, what it used to be. It's not the esports team now. And the reason why is because, well, I do like esports teams, but a lot of the time it's not very profitable. And there's not a way to gain from it. Like, the cool thing about Blue Skirmish is it's not profitable in the sense that, oh, I'm gonna get loads of money back, but what's it called? It has a purpose, If you have no purpose, you shouldn't be doing something, And that's been like my whole journey, finding the purpose inside esports. And I've been looking for a while. That's basically where I met Blue Skirmish, of course. I mean, Team Oasis Podcast has been here since like November 2021. But yeah, it's rebooted a few times, but this won't get rebooted. This is my own little show because what's it called? Team Oasis Podcast. The original host, right, of course, was someone I used to just ask to go on the podcast and interview loads of Oasis members. Now, it's me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're doing it with all over the esports scene.
Yeah.
With everybody.
And I really do enjoy it because I do like giving people a voice as well on my platform. It's just fun meeting different kinds of people. That's another reason why I enjoy esports. Because you can meet, with esports, right, you can meet all types of people from all across the world. And of course, with the podcast, it's all about uncovering people's like hidden stories, that they don't tell people. That's the fun of it. Because I think, there's always, something that they want to tell, but they can't really tell without being egotistical. So we give them their own show, That's the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a nice and long and good answer from there. I mean, you've definitely mentioned something for like the reason why you started with Blue Skirmish as of a whole. But do you have any like goal to go off of yourself, or something you want to achieve with it to go to?
Blue Skirmish?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I do have a few plans. I mean, there is one. I do want to do like what I call a mega tournament. Okay, so like a tournament that is that has a huge prize pool. Like I wanted to do a LAN tournament. That's when I know I've made it as a Blue Skirmish, organizer, of course. Like LAN tournament, a worldwide LAN tournament. It'd be like, so you've seen the Fortnite World Cup and you've seen Valorant VCT like Iceland, of course. I want to do something like that.
Okay.
Think of them both combined together with just a massive prize pool, with those kind of prize pools. That's what I dream of. Okay, that is the goal.
Okay, so that's where we are. That's we're going off of, and I mean, I would say we're getting there. I mean, I can really see that the growth is starting to come in, and I mean that's also something I really love to see from hosting my own tournament. Just people so excited.
Can I add on to that point? I do see like a lot of people what's it called judging people like based on like I feel like people shouldn't judge brands based and creators based on just their following. I think following your followers is a good metric of success, but I don't think it should be the sole metric of success people should judge you on, of course. And I do see that a lot with Blue Skirmish because they look at our Twitter and Instagram and they won't bother to look at our other stuff as well. Like some random people, who follow me and stuff, and they go, "Oh, well, you're not growing on so and so media, of course." I'm like, "Well, these things take time, of course, and of course we're growing on Twitch and we're growing on Discord, but some people like will only judge you, of course, but they won't bother to look at your other socials." And that always kind of annoys me, because what's it called? If you're gonna like, criticize someone, at least do your research, of course. That this one moment on Twitter, today, right? And this guy was like, "Oh, well, you need to learn how to use social media." And I was like, "Well, that's cool. I honestly, man, I don't get some people, like I think people should not, just look at things face value. Obviously, I think it's a good, metric because when people do judge you, oh well, this is what people see when they see it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point you're making right there. I mean, for me myself, around the Authority League, I also see that people, don't really recognize me myself for the Authority League, but I got a thing behind it with the casting where me and myself are just gonna be there for that. But I mean, maybe last question, and probably also not only maybe, but maybe the real last question to end it off with. I mean, you're still working in IT, you said as well.
Yeah.
But do you also would you also like to proceed your career into esports? And then I don't really mean necessarily Blue Skirmish, but maybe also doing some IT stuff around like an esports company or esports team, or just working into esports in any way around it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting aspect because of course, conflict of interest. I'm very lucky in my position where I can continue to run Team Oasis because not every company allows you to run a company whilst you're in there, of course. There's this phrase called double teaming, of course, especially in esports, and that seems quite hard to navigate. And I do know there's quite a lot of mistreatment to just normal workers, of course, in the esports space. Obviously not in like the digital space, but I know in the physical space of esports there can be some of the higher up organizations. Like I'm not too sure, but I've heard some stuff about TSM, a bit of 100 Thieves, a bit of FaZe Clan. I'm not sure if all of it's true, but you never know. And it's quite a dangerous road to proceed in. I do think it is an interesting aspect though. I wouldn't mind getting to more something like that was targeted to gamers, like maybe like video or something like, or let's say Caller Master or Corsair. That would be fun. But esports in general, I guess I think the big plan is to make Team Oasis a company where I can actually live off it. Of course, same thing with Blue Skirmish and its other brands. But
yeah, that's something that might be happening in the in the future. And I mean, for me,
Mm.
those were my questions for this final episode of the season 1, wasn't it, Superface?
Yeah, I believe it's so. Um, Honestly, man, thank you so much for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. Um, and to top it off, what's it called? A few more questions to you.
Ooh.
Um, so big shout outs. What's it called? This past year, who would you like to shout out? Who's really helped you this year? Like just a bunch of people.
Probably the ones I would have to thank is mainly I believe as like I mentioned him quite earlier as well, Toldersma for helping me get like basically into the Benelux scene as of a whole. I mean that
Yeah.
was really the gateway into that
Mm-hmm.
myself. That was really lovely to see. Probably also the people from Entropiq for still having
Mm-hmm.
another year right
Yeah.
there and then with them, but also
Mm-hmm.
one of my guys where my friends in my own team where I'm playing with right now with the Draries, probably Stave, which has been a guy always there and always hyping up and not always watching the games, but definitely someone always asking like how are things going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's really been a guy where I could just talk
Mm-hmm.
with and ask some advice on without him knowing too much himself about the scene or etc. But he's been always
Mm.
there to chat with. So those are probably going to be three guys or two guys and one organization that really helped me the last 1 year, I would say,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the casting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And another question: where can we find you?
Yeah, I mean, you see here Dutch Boy, but there's usually a cast behind it. So if you take a look on Twitter and search Dutch Boy cast,
Yeah.
you will be able to find me.
Mm-hmm.
Almost there with to 300 followers. So please, no, no, that's nice to end it off with. No, but no, Dutch Boy cast is gonna be there for the Twitter, and there I sometimes post where I will be live or will be uh, wondering when Source 2 is finally going to get added into CSGO, because that's been something happening for the last few weeks where everyone is just not sure
Oh yeah,
what
CS:GO
is going to be
2.
happening. Yeah,
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Are
there
you
are.
hopeful of it? Are you looking
I
forward
mean,
to it?
yeah, there is now like a big leak that it might be happening like tonight. That
Yeah.
means 21st when we're recording this. So like in the evening, usually at nighttime for Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Then updates will be, and Tuesday is usually an updating date. And today the banner have been added, and there's like a little bit of a leak in there that it might be happening today or in 2 days, with like a 2 and
Right.
a D in there hidden. So who knows what we're going to be seeing
Mm.
off of that. But no, those are things you can definitely look forward on my Twitter. Like I said, Dutch Boycast also on my Twitch, where you can take a look for. And yeah, for the rest, I'm a pretty normal guy, so it's not that I have have too much to take a look for. But at the same time, yeah, just keep on watching the Blue Skirmish as well, because there I will be casting some time on as well. So there you might be seeing me on sometime soon,
Yeah. Maybe on Beach Skirmish.
or Gold Skirmish. Who knows?
Mm. Are you down to do this week?
I mean, I'm gonna have to take a look at my schedule. Probably, well, it's on my right here, but
Mm.
yeah, if I'm down, I'm definitely up for helping as much as possible with
Mm.
the way things are going. Because, like I
Yeah.
said before, I mean, followers and stuff, they don't always represent how things are going. But I can definitely
Of
see
course.
when, for example, every tournament has been hosted, new teams are coming in, all
Yeah.
teams are returning, people are enjoying it. It's really
Mm.
an enjoyable thing to have tournaments
Yeah.
and for the teams to play for something, because they're like, there's not a lot, we want to play tournaments, we want to have that hype, and we
Mm.
bring it to them, right?
Yeah. Of course. I do think people, what's it called, try to rush into the money aspect and the follow aspect too fast. The thing is, most people nowadays just want clout. I'm sure
Hmm.
clout does create, what's it called, easier ways, easier paths to grow, of course, to get sponsors, etc. But yeah, back to what you were saying, with patience, things will grow, of course.
Hmm. Yeah,
I do
and
agree.
patience is definitely needed for something, and a
Mm.
little bit of luck for sure as well around it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something you're
Mm-hmm.
first going to have to just start off doing,
Yeah.
and that's also something we did with the Authority Leagues and you with the Blue Skirmish, and see what's been
Mm-hmm.
coming off of it. Just some
Yeah.
more and more growth, some more and more successfulness starting to grow
Mm-hmm.
and come.
Yeah. Since this episode is going to get released on the May 20th, by the way, which is Oasis Day. Fun
Oh.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Happy Oasis Day, everyone. Happy Oasis Day. And but basically, right, what's it called? Tomorrow is Tropic Skirmish, which is our £250 tournament. To celebrate the 2 years of the parent company Team Oasis LTD.
Yeah. Be sure to sign up, guys, because
Mm.
it's a lovely tournament to be a part of and represented with the 2 years. So it's gonna be, first of all, a party because of the dates, but it's also gonna be a party because there's a whole tournament. I mean, and you can win. Hey, come on.
Exactly. Get yourself down to
I'm doing the
Cheltenham.
advertisement for you as well, man. No worries. I will send the invoice later on. You know, easy.
I got a pay tomorrow as well. Yeah. Anyway, what's it called? Thank you all for coming to watch the amazing Dutch Boycast. And that was me, your host, Super Phase, what's it called? Team Oasis Podcasts, you know, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, etc. Even Google Podcasts as well. We're on a variety of platforms. Make sure to follow us if you can on those platforms. Because not only are we on YouTube, we're on a variety of platforms. Also, we have now integrated TeamOasis.world, our new website that, you know, features everything about Team Oasis, including Blue Skirmish. Even having this guy on the website.
Ooh. There you will be able to see me as well. Very nice.
And not only that, you'll be able to watch every single podcast episode from the website.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making it better and better every time, aren't we?
We sure are. It's only up from here. Anyway, that was Dutch Boy. Anything you would like to say before we head off?
No, I mean, it's been nice being here. Thank you for the invitation, and yeah, good luck on the future editions and with Blue Skirmish as of a whole.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in another Blue Skirmish tournament, of course, and maybe we'll see you in season 2 or 3 of Team Oasis Podcasts. Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? And then you can see my growth as well. Hopefully, it's been it's going up and up from this because I mean I'm still young, as you might know. I'm only 18 years old, so it's been a journey
18.
and it will be a journey.
18.
Yeah.
You said. I was the same age. Ah, that's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, that was Dutch Boy. That was Team Oasis Podcast. That was me. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you in season 2.
Bye
Bye
bye.
for now.